Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Mary Grace. This is the Mary Grace Show, the voice of sanity to help you navigate politics, culture, wellness, faith, and world events. We have with us today a very special guest. And as we're waiting just for me to do the introduction, I want to remind everybody, if you didn't know that we were having a show today, if you didn't get the notification, please go to my website, marygracemedia.com. Get on the mailing list so that you know for sure when we're having a show, because I do send out an email, and it's the website marygracemedia.com. You can scan the QR code or you can go directly to that website and sign up for the mailing list. Today I have with me Sheriff Richard Mack. He is returning to the show. He has been a guest here before, and he is the founder and director of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, CSPOA.org. It's a mouthful, but it is a very important organization, and especially in light of recent events in our country having to do with the border and domestic violence and terrorism. Sheriff Mack, welcome to the show. It's good to have you back. Thank you for coming on today.
Well, Mary G, thank you for having me. You have a very religious sounding name.
Mary Grace.
But I love it. Mary Grace, yes.
It's my spy name.
Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it. And Happy New Year to you. And
thank you.
Things are not getting off to a good start this new year of 2025 that I was so convinced it was going to be a year of hope.
Well, it's not over. So, I think one thing that I say when it comes to the deep state and the people who have everything to lose when it comes to making a peaceful transition of power, I say, regardless of, what Trump does or him getting in office, evil is going to evil. And until Jesus comes back, we're here on this earth dealing with it. And, we do have God on our side, but it doesn't stop them from continuing to try to destroy everything that gives us life, and including our country, including this great nation. And so I want to go directly into what has happened in the last 36 hours in our country, because this is on everybody's minds. And we've had what looks to be 2, if not 3, terror attacks. I don't know if you saw the one that happened in Queens, New York last night, the mass shooting at a nightclub. But certainly, we know New Orleans on New Year's Eve, and then the Cybertruck that exploded, not spontaneously. It was not an electrical fire at the entrance of the Trump Hotel in Vegas. These are clearly terror linked. So would you please, as a sheriff, as a law enforcement, let's start with that.
Well, I'm not trying to blow my own horn, but I predicted that this was going to start. I actually thought it would be a little bit sooner than now, but I believe that this is going to happen, that this is just the beginning of what they want to do to interrupt the Trump presidency, even interrupt the certification that is supposed to be. I've heard both. I've heard that it's January 6th, and I've also heard that it's January 8th. But I don't know why it would be the same day every year on the 6th, or every 4 years, I should say. But regardless of the 2-day difference there, intel has been made to most law enforcement across the country, not nearly enough. I've talked to sheriffs who have been to intel training in Israel and other trainings that have happened in the Midwest and along the Eastern Seaboard, from intel specialists that have told us that this was going to happen. They're going to create pockets of violence and get us preoccupied with protecting the places where there will be large crowds. And then we will forget what they're really going to do. Make us pay attention over here so they can strike us really at the heart. And the intel that really has me concerned is that they're aiming And I actually wrote a book. I wrote a novel about this back in 2005, where they're going to hit our water supply, and they're not going to just hit our water supply. Oh, the other terrorist attack was that it looks like the CCP has hacked into uh, the Treasury Department of the United States. The IRS has been hacked. So that's the other one I wanted to point out too. And
And
two,
is this in the last 24 hours?
uh, last 30, maybe last 72 hours.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's been on the news quite a bit. Um, in fact, I have an email I was actually going to
Okay.
show about it, but
Yeah,
uh,
let us see
so
that.
they can't hack Dominion machines, but they can hack the most sophisticated computer system just about
Right.
in the world, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think these are shots across the bow. I think these are warnings of what's coming. Uh, uh, Dave Hodges and I both were on his show a couple of weeks ago, and we said that this was coming. And I speak with a lot of sheriffs across the country, and several of them have told me the intel is they're going to hit our grid, they're going to hit the water supply, and they're going to hit our computers. Obviously, if they hit the grid, they're going to be hitting the computers. And
Right.
so, folks, being prepared is essential to all of this. And we should take this as a legitimate warning, a warning shot. What happened in New Orleans, what has happened to the IRS, the Treasury Department, and what happened to Trump's, to Elon Musk truck being exploded in front of Trump's building in Vegas. Um, the, the, Anybody wants to call those coincidence? There's no
Yeah.
such thing. There's no such thing. It is not a coincidence, and they're gearing up for this. And so I fear for the safety of people going to the NCAA football games, to the Super Bowl that will be happening in about a month.
Mhm.
And all of this is going to preoccupy uh, Trump and his administration. And it's right now, I'm going to call this out. I have said it before, but the traitors in Washington, D.C., and the corruption of Washington, D.C. is our enemy. That's
Yeah.
why this is happening.
Yeah.
Mr. Biden, you get on the television and you're all over reading your little script from whoever is your puppet master. And you're now saying, acting like you're not responsible for the people that have entered our country
Yeah.
who are going to be doing this more to us. And like this guy that just did it for ISIS. ISIS is here in America to the tune of tens of thousands because of you, Mr. Biden, and your Vice President Harris. And criminal investigations need to be initiated against all of you, Mayorkas, Harris, Biden, and anyone else who has aided and abetted or personally been involved in this crime of bringing gangs and criminals and international terrorists into America. And we have to ask one big question. Why has this administration allowed this to happen? There's only two answers. One, to increase their chances of a Democrat monopoly over political power in America by getting tens of millions of illegals to be registered to vote. We already know that's happening. We already know some states, several, are giving driver's licenses, which they can use to go get
Mhm.
registered to vote.
Well,
It's
and
already
they
happening.
wanna change the
That's
census
documented.
too. They want to add to the numbers and add more
Yeah.
representatives,
Yep.
to the different states, right?
It's all there. Yeah.
And I wanted to
The
ask
other
you
one is just to destroy America from within. They might have
right,
that on their plate
right.
as well. Yeah.
Right, and I think, when it comes to the voting piece, they don't actually need them to vote. They just need them to be registered to vote so that they can manufacture the ballots because that's what
Correct.
they're doing.
Correct.
They don't actually have to win them over
Yeah, they
ideologically.
could do both. They can do
Yeah, they
both.
can do both, yeah, but they don't actually have to get them to the polls. We've seen that. We've seen how they do that. But I wanted to ask you a couple of things about these recent attacks yesterday and then the night before. These individuals, both of them had a U.S. military background. In fact, the one from the Cybertruck was active special forces, and was also being trained to operate drones. But the crazy thing is, they're Americans. However, I think we need to start making a distinction between somebody being a U.S. citizen and an American, because in my book, Americans don't blow up other Americans. Americans don't plow through festivals with vehicles with the
Right.
intent of killing, and they don't come out shooting places up. That's not
Right.
who Americans are. Um, and so I do want to address that, but I want to also go back to another possible motive. We are in a fragile position as a nation right now. We're counting
Right.
the days until the transfer of power. A lot of people are calling for Trump to go straight forward with swearing in and just skip the inauguration because the work is so important and the pressure is on for him to get started. But do you think that this amount of violence will be an excuse for Biden to call for martial law and potential lockdowns in our nation?
That's a legitimate question. It's a very good question, and it's a legitimate concern.
Mhm.
And so, yes, um, would the Democrats do any of this and hope for any of this so that they could block the exchange of power and transfer of power to Trump? That's an obvious yes. I have said it for the past 15, 20 years. The Democrats are willing to do anything: lie, cheat, steal, or murder. They're capable of it, and they've done it all. They've done it
Yeah.
already, all of that. And so, would they be willing to create violence in our country and keep Trump out? Oh, gee, these are the same people that have done everything they can, including, and I don't know who was behind the assassination attempts on Trump,
The
but
FBI can't figure that out. They can find
no,
grandmas who took selfies in the Capitol, but they can't
yeah,
prevent what happened yesterday. It's always we have them on our radar.
right. And
Yeah,
what we know about Washington D.C. is that it is so utterly and completely
yeah,
corrupt. Okay,
yeah,
are the Democrats worse than the Republicans? Yes. Are there many Republicans that are very similar to the
yeah,
Democrats? Yes.
absolutely.
And why the Republican Party keeps chasing after the the Democrats, I'll never know. But the corruption is there. I mean, I could name a lot of completely and totally corrupt Republicans as well. And
Mhm.
so they keep
Sure.
playing the Democrat game. I don't know why, but they do. Because I guess Democrats win, and so the Republicans want to be like Democrats. Well, there was a huge mandate this time. If it was completely legit, which I still question, but you know, I even said to people before, would the people in charge of the voting would they want to put Trump back in so that they could kick off all this and go after him still? But what you said a minute ago is what I really want to touch on. I believe that there should be no open Washington, D.C. big inauguration with the parades of the family and the Trump family and his grandkids with him and whatnot. None of that should happen. Just from a security standpoint, stop the pomp and circumstance. It's unnecessary. We don't need it. Have the swearing in a secure room in the White House and just get to work.
Yeah,
I don't want a big inauguration thing with
yeah,
millions of people around Washington D.C. No, This is the same reason I told people not to go to January 6th 4 years ago.
Mhm.
None of us went from CSPOA. None of us. I got invited lots of times. I was chided for not going. I was called a coward for not going. You don't support, blah, blah, blah. No, look, I'm more concerned about security. I want to protect Donald Trump. And I want the sheriffs of this country to have Trump's back. And I've already been saying that for a long time. But
Mhm.
this is the inauguration event. The pomp and circumstance is unnecessary. And what's already happened to him and the threats that have been going out towards him, this is absurd. Do not do it. Go,
Yeah.
go and get it and get to work. And the rest of us need to understand the American people have got to be involved in this process of getting to work to make sure we take our country back. And that's why I believe
Mhm.
we're at the we're at the cusp of
Yeah.
taking our country back. And if we, the people, don't get involved in it, it's not going to happen.
I agree. And, you know, I think when it comes to investigations,
Mhm.
it's very clear that we cannot trust our intelligence community. We cannot trust DC bureaucrats. In fact, I don't know if everybody knows this, but President Trump is financing his own transition. He is doing that to keep his actions and activities private and to keep them out from under the eyes of the deep state who launched the fake Russia investigation, who spied on his campaign during the first administration. It's very wise. However, I do know that President Trump is getting security briefings. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, from who?
Well, that's a good question. I'm pretty sure he has his own people, right?
He
But
better.
he should be, right?
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, he's taking a completely different tack this time on this, and as well he should. But I hope that he heeds the warning and the advice of people like you and General Flynn, who are saying, let's just get straight to work.
Right.
Let's swear in on your Bible and get straight to work. Um, I really hope that happens. Now, let's talk about when he does get inaugurated, when he starts. I know he has said the deportations are going to begin straight away. Tom
Well,
Homan has said
yeah,
that.
yes.
Two questions. What is it going to look like on day one? And then, what will it look like going forward logistically? How do you get rid of hundreds of millions of people? We're talking upwards of 20 million people in this country,
Yeah.
many of whom are known terrorists, many of whom have thrown away their documents and
Right.
created new identities. Um, how does that work? Are there enough buses in the country to get
Mhm.
these people out? Right?
Yeah, most people say, "Well, send them back the same way they came," and therein lies another investigation. We need to get people who have come from Venezuela and other places that obviously didn't walk here. We need to find out how they got here, start checking and following the money trail.
Right.
So if it's George Soros or anybody else or somebody
Mhm.
within government, they need to be brought to justice. And these investigations need to take place starting day one, January 1st. I would like to see that be implemented. I'd also like to see the military where they can lawfully and constitutionally help with this. The only place they can help with this is at the border.
Okay.
The federal government has jurisdiction at the border. Article 4, Section 4, United States Constitution shall protect our borders from invasion. Shall. That's a federal government uh, power and authority that the states back in 1789 delegated to the new federal government. That's theirs. They're supposed to do that. Uh, it's not lawful for the military to go start going through our streets, but our sheriffs can do that. And our sheriffs, no one knows our counties better than the county sheriff. And you add to that his posse. Every sheriff should have a posse, a group of local citizens a Minuteman organization that's ready to respond to any need, whether it's natural disasters or it's attacks and violence, no matter what it is. The sheriff should have them and have them trained and have them ready to go. And yes, every one of those people, those citizens, are uh, sworn in. If you want to call it deputized, fine,
Mhm.
call it that. The sheriff
So
has the authority to deputize anyone he wants.
you're
The
saying
sheriff,
that a county sheriff can
Mhm.
deputize me, can deputize my neighbor.
Yes,
How
of
does
course.
I have so many questions about that. Um, how does one go about vetting those people, to make sure that they're not deputizing the enemy?
Right.
What protections does a private citizen have once they're deputized? Do they have the same kind of immunity that law enforcement has? What kind of risks are they taking by taking on a role as law enforcement?
Well,
How does that work?
that works however the sheriff wants it to,
Okay.
and that has already been one of the excuses that they use to not have one. But the greatest example of a very good posse was Sheriff Joe Arpaio in Maricopa County, right
Okay.
here in Phoenix, where I live. I live in a suburb of Phoenix.
Mhm.
The new sheriff, Jerry Sheridan, is a very good friend of mine, and I worked arduously on his campaign.
Mhm.
Miraculously, he won big time.
Mhm. Oh, we're getting frozen here. Hopefully he'll be back. Let's see what happens. Hmm. We might have to take him off and then back again. We were talking about Sheriff Arpaio. We're talking about, where I was going to ask him about Sheriff Mark Lamb. Let's see if we can get him back. Completely frozen. Uh, let's see. Let me message him. Uh, okay, let's see if he comes back. Uh, this conversation is so good. For those of you who are just coming in, I'm Mary Grace. This is the Mary Grace Show, and we're talking to Sheriff Richard Mack. He is talking about the invasion of our country. We're talking about how constitutional sheriffs can enforce the law, what role the military would have in enforcing our borders and helping Trump accomplish the closing the border as well as the deportations that need to happen as soon as Trump takes office. And hopefully, we will get Sheriff Mack back. I don't know what happened. I don't know if his internet went down, if he lost the connection, but we will try to get him back. Why don't we take a quick commercial break here? I want to remind everybody that we have a number of sponsors here who help us get the Mary Grace Show up and running every week. And those are the friends of the show. These are America First companies that help us to pay the bills. And every time you purchase from these companies, we get an affiliate income. So it is important that we run their ads and that we are able to expose you to them so that you can make purchases from these companies. When you go to my website, marygracemedia.com, you can go on the shopping tab and you can see a number of companies that we work with. We are highlighting 3 companies these days as partners with the show. The first one is griddownchowdown.com. That's our friends who bring us freeze-dried, grass-fed, grass-finished American beef. That's it right there. This is a package of a pound of ground beef right here. When you add water, it turns into the same type of beef that you would open fresh. Hold on just a second, guys. Sheriff Mack's calling me. We got to see what happened. Yes, Sheriff Mack. I don't know what happened. We
It looks like it's my internet's down.
Yeah, let's bring you in on the phone. Do you have a hotspot that you can get on the internet over there? Okay, okay, we'll do that. Let me. Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna run commercials, so come in the waiting room, and then we'll get you back in. Okay. All right. Okay, so his internet went down. We're gonna run our ads here really quickly. Please be sure and go and check out our sponsors and support them and help protect American companies. That's what we really want to do. So here we go.
Hello, I'm Jordan, and this is my brother. And I'm Nace, and we're at the Grid Down Chowdown. And this is Larry, who is a local rancher that we've partnered with. Now, Larry, you've been ranching for over 4 generations, is that correct?
That's correct. I'm 3rd generation, my son's 4th generation, and I've got some grandkids that are 5th generation.
Man, that's awesome.
We've been here for quite a while, yeah.
All right, now, Larry, your cattle is grass-fed, grass-finished, and pasture-raised, just like God intended them to be.
Yes, because I want to know what's in that animal.
Right.
What it's been fed. And so the only way to do that is for us to keep it all natural, just like God has done it for years and years and years, thousands of years.
How has partnering up with us helped you and your ranch?
Well, it's allowed us to develop a market that we didn't have before, one that can get directly to the consumer, and that's great.
And just remember, more importantly, with every package that you buy, we put a salvation track in there. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for allowing us to do what we believe that God has us here to do. And just remember, God loves you. He really does.
Amen.
Americans spend more now than ever on healthcare, and we're sicker than almost anybody in the world. We've put our trust in a system that's completely let us down. Dr. Troy Sproul and the team at Synapse Center for Health and Healing have changed all that. They are a functional medicine clinic, and they get to the root cause of what's made you sick in the first place. Once they do that, they give you solutions to help you get out of that. This is the way that medicine was meant to be practiced, and this is what they're doing. They're changing the entire system from the inside out, one person at a time, and you could be one of those people. And so when you're working with the team at Synapse, they're giving you solutions and not just prescriptions. That's a game changer for me. When you set up a free discovery call with Synapse, you're starting on a journey of healing. You're starting on a journey of getting answers. And that's why I've partnered with them, because I want you to be healthy. I want your family to be healthy. I want you to have all of the resources that you need to steward the body and the health that God's given you. Go to officialsynapse.com and tell them Mary Grace sent you. That's Official Synapse, SYNAPSE. Okay, we're back. For some reason, my pillow commercial won't play. Please go to mypillow.com and use promo code Mary Grace. Everything you need is there. They have some incredible specials right now. You can get the original My Pillow, the new My Pillow 2.0, all of which are fantastic. Remember, when you go there, mypillow.com, promo code Mary Grace. And you can get all the specials. They have some amazing things. If you haven't ever tried their sheets, their flannel sheets, they're fantastic. A lot of people don't know they have pet beds. Your pets are going to love you for giving them a nice, comfy bed made by the folks at My Pillow. And the best thing about My Pillow is when you call them, they have Americans who answer the phone, and a lot of them are moms and grandmas who are working for the company, and Mike Lindell is providing a lot of jobs that way. So please support them if you can. Now, we've got Sheriff Richard Mack here. He's going to come back on the show. And somebody asked about the freeze-dried beef. It's not frozen, it's freeze-dried. So you can go to their website, and I'll put that up here. It is griddownchowdown.com. Right now, all of my listeners are getting a special on Grid Down Chowdown with the freeze dried. When you sign up for a subscription package of 24 servings, you will get 4 servings free. It's a great deal. 24 serving subscription package. That is kind of set it and forget it. Some people are stockpiling it. Some people are using it for their weekly, monthly cooking. It's up to you. Sign up for the 24 subscription package and get 4 servings free. And when you mention promo code Mary Grace, let's get Sheriff Mack back on the show and we'll continue our conversation. Glad you got back. No telling what happened to that internet,
Man, I don't know.
but,
Yeah,
but here we are.
that's the first time. I'm probably going to have to get some sort of backup for that because that really
Yeah.
worries me because I've got some other big shows coming up besides yours, and
Yeah,
I don't want
that's what I do. I have
that.
I have a hotspot. I actually have hotspot on my phone, and then I have a different hotspot. And one day we had I had General Flynn coming on the show, and the tech gremlins, I guess they were big mad because all of my internet went out. Like nothing worked. None of the
Wow.
backups, right?
Well, another
So
sign of the time.
I know, exactly. So let's
But
continue. Let's keep going
well, one
here.
other thing I want to say though, real
Yeah,
quickly,
yeah.
I'm definitely going to get that grid down, chow down.
Oh, good.
That is
Okay.
a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to place an order today, and I have to tell you something right now. Something else.
Look at that. It's a pound of beef
I'm going to get that. That's perfect for food
for
storage
prepping. Yeah.
and using, like you say, all the time.
Yep.
Getting really good beef in your food storage is very difficult to do. That is
Yeah.
my baby now. I
It's
love it.
brilliant. It's brilliant. They're going to start doing eggs too.
Oh,
So that
good.
you can just, this is amazing, guys. You can make any recipe that you would make with a fresh pound of ground beef. You can
Oh,
make with this. You just add water. And so, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like in a zombie apocalypse, I don't want to be eating like powdered starchy things. You need protein. Like you need to be able to think and function.
yeah.
And
Eating
this is
beans every day is not going to cut it. Beans and rice.
no, that's poverty food.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'll have some of those too, but please give me that beef on it.
yeah, I'm gonna send you the link. See,
And another
Sheriff
thing
Mack
is,
is on it. Here's the link,
yeah, how about
everybody.
this? I'm wearing my pillow socks right now.
Oh, socks.
I've got it,
Perfect.
folks. I am sick and tired of socks that feel like they're choking your ankles to death. And these are very comfortable. I absolutely love them.
Interesting.
Get both kinds that he has on his website there, but
Okay.
I'm wearing them right now.
I haven't tried the
And
socks
Mike
yet.
Lindell's a
Yeah.
friend of mine, but I'm not going to just buy his stuff because he's my friend.
Yeah.
These are
It's good
great
stuff.
products. We have them. We have the
Good.
pillows. My wife has just ordered what is it that you put on top of your mattress that he has?
Oh, the mattress topper. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. What do you put on top? Yeah, the
You know what
topper.
I like about
So,
his mattress topper is that it's wrapped. It comes inside of a really nice fabric, so
oh,
you don't rip it. Like you can't tear the foam when you touch it. And a
oh,
lot of
cool.
mattress toppers aren't like
Well,
that. Your wife,
ours
you
is
ask your
being
wife.
ordered. We just placed
Yeah.
the order for that, and
Oh,
so
okay, because your
yeah,
wife will know. She'll tell you
yeah,
when some of
yeah.
these mattress toppers, the minute you touch them, like you poke holes in them. His
Okay.
has a wrapper on it, right? A case. It has its own case,
Oh, yeah.
and it's washable. So that's amazing. But the socks, we've got a sub-zero Arctic freeze coming in a lot of the country. So get your socks, guys, and get your
Boy, I
flannel
love these
sheets.
socks. I just
Yeah,
wear them around
good.
the house all day. They're very comfortable. I wear them to go play or to go work out.
Oh, good.
Very nice. And um, should I take one off so I can
Yeah,
prove I actually have it
let's
on?
go ahead and show the socks. I'm gonna put the grid down chow down link up here for a second too,
I
so
thought you were going to
people
tell
can
me no, but okay, I'm going to
no,
get one.
fine, let's do it. Let's put up the link. Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
this is a nice little break from the serious. Look at that. Oh, those are nice. Look, red, white,
Yeah,
and blue.
yeah.
Is it
And
here? Let's see. Is it an ankle sock or a crew?
this is the crew cut. This is
Okay, hold it
crew.
up. Okay,
Yeah.
oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're saying it doesn't get too tight. Does it
No,
stay up on your
no.
ankle though? Does it
And they
stay
stay
up?
up, and sometimes I roll them
Wow.
down. Like right now, I had them rolled down.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, I just sent you
that's
I
the
sent
first
you
time I've ever taken off parts of my clothing from one of my shows.
Okay. What oh my
But anyway,
goodness.
you know it now. So,
This is getting
so
interesting.
yeah,
One thing I wanted to say about the grid down chow down, our beef, is that these are American farmers and ranchers, and this is every time anybody buys from Grid Down
Yeah.
Chow Down, you are helping to protect American farmers and keep these farms open.
Yeah.
Many farms have closed. We don't have nearly as many farmers as we had even 25 years ago. So this is essential. And again, all of my listeners, when you go to griddownchowdown.com through the month of January, when you sign up for the 24 serving subscription, they're going to send you 4 servings free. Just use promo code Mary Grace. That's a great deal. You're getting free product just for getting your subscription. And when your package comes,
Hey, Sheriff,
you
I'm on a
you
show.
put it
I'm going to call
away.
you right back.
You put it away or you cook with it, whatever you want to do. This stuff is good for up to like 20, 25 years. And it's not jerky. It's not
Unbelievable.
frozen. It's freeze dried.
Yeah,
So
I
that
don't want
means the
jerky.
water is taken out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not jerky and it's
No.
all that salt.
I'm
and
on it.
no,
I will
this is
order
real.
that
This
today.
is real
So
food.
thank you.
Yeah, you're
So let's see,
welcome.
where
Okay.
was I?
So let's
Oh,
talk. We were
posses,
talking about
posse.
posses and how what's the logistics of
Yeah.
getting somebody deputized. I got to get rid of this little
Well,
coat.
first of
There we
all,
go.
you brought up a very good question, and that is, how do we vet these people? Make
Yeah.
sure that they're there. Well, first of all, you should be with other people from the community that know you. That's the first thing.
Okay.
You go and join with some of your friends and neighbors. Former military, that's an easy vet. Okay.
Right.
Somebody comes in all by themselves and they don't know people in that community. That's key. But yes, there's always a director of the posse from within the sheriff's office. The sheriffs who say what you also alluded to, that no, our insurance won't cover people on the posse. They have no choice because it is lawful for the sheriff to have a posse. Okay.
Interesting.
The
Okay.
Arizona law even says so. And that he can call out every able-bodied citizen to help him keep the peace in the county. Folks, if there was ever a time we need to keep the peace in our counties nationwide, it's now.
Yeah.
And so there's another component to this. We are big time into training sheriffs and helping sheriffs create posses. Most of the
Okay.
sheriffs in this country already have a posse, and it's called their search and rescue squad. That's usually volunteers from the community that
Okay.
do that. Has that become a big liability for sheriffs? No. It has
Okay.
become a huge support and benefit to the people in the county. Yes,
Got it.
you need to be ready to be trained. Hopefully you're already trained in firearms and you have certification for that. If not, they'll probably add that. But that's not the only thing. Riding with deputies or helping deputies is not the only thing you can do. There's a lot more.
Mhm.
And you can help in dispatch, and you can help with prisoner
Okay.
transport, and you can help with court security, and it goes on and on.
Mhm.
But folks,
Somebody mentioned a tip line. How do you
a
think
tip line.
how is that going to work when, for example, reporting illegal aliens? If you know somebody in your
Well, we
community.
want that. We want that. But we also want you to call directly to the sheriff's office or a tip line. And when you're on the posse, you're going to have that direct line to the sheriff's office, because
Yeah.
the sheriff knows the county, but you know it even better than he does.
Okay.
And
Okay.
getting the people to work on this deportation thing with the sheriff is vital. It's going to be vital that the sheriffs are involved. Historically speaking, has there ever been mass deportations before? Eisenhower did it after World War II, and he did about 1.5 million. If they can do that with the lack of technology they had back then, and the lack of transportation access to planes, buses, you name it. Yes, and then also the reason we want the military at the border is to stop the bleeding. Folks, you've got to stop them coming back.
Yeah.
You got to stop them coming in, and those that we deport turning right around and coming back.
And how
And
do
I've
we
actually
deal
seen that before.
how do we deal with the radicalization? Because this has been an issue for quite some time. And again, you have these US citizens who are already on American soil. We can't deport US citizens. How can we stop? Uh, I think I know the answer to some of this because I think that some of these people are. I think some of these operations are actually run by our three-letter agencies. I'm answering my
Yeah.
own questions. We need
Well,
to get
yes.
people on the organizations from the top down,
Yes. I mean, first
right?
of all, we have to have people in Washington, D.C. that we can count on and rely on. And I think that's
Right.
happening right now.
Because CIA
Uh,
created ISIS, Obama.
yeah. And so, folks, look, there's all these other different agencies in Washington, D.C. And right now, which one do you trust the most? Your sheriff or them? So until Kash Patel and others within Pam Bondi and others within Washington, D.C. To control the bureaucracies, we depend on the sheriff having Trump's back
Okay.
on this deportation and Tom Homan's. Now, I've been in
Mhm.
touch with Tom, and I'm going to do it again too, because I'm going to ask him and General Flynn to get and Steve Bannon to get a hold of President Trump and say cancel the pomp and circumstance of the
Yeah.
inauguration.
I know
Uh,
Flynn is on board with that. He's calling for it.
yes, I know
Yeah.
he is, and
Yeah.
so this needs to get to Trump. I'm sure it already has, but there's just absolutely no need for it.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah, we need to get to
purpose?
I think
What
the
purpose
people
does
would
it serve?
support that. I think the
Yeah,
people would be in support of it because,
of course.
it's first of
Yeah.
all, it's cold as anything. Washington, DC in January, I've been there, I've done it. I mean, it's,
Oh yeah,
ugh,
me too.
awful. And then
Yeah.
you're in hostile territory to begin with.
But the
Right?
other thing I wanted to finish before that,
Yeah,
before we get off the posse thing,
sure.
folks, we train you to be on the posse. Okay. The first thing we ask is that you join our posse. And then we work with you and we get you to work with your sheriff and get on his posse. Some don't have posses. Some do. Now, when they say they don't have a posse, ask them if they have a volunteer search and rescue, which means they do have a posse.
Okay.
And you can expand it from there, or you can create a whole new posse separate from the search and rescue. But those people on search and rescue can be used as part of what we're talking about here. They know the topography of the
Okay.
county. They
Mhm.
know who is there. They know who've moved in recently. And folks, this is all lawful, constitutional, and
Mhm.
it is we the people, the first three words of the Constitution. This is our country. We have a responsibility and a duty to protect it. We must get involved in this. We the people are in charge here, and the sheriff reports only to us. Another thing for education, I would say, is to prove all of this and prove that your sheriff is the CLEO, the chief law enforcement officer. You need a copy of this. Okay. This is
Okay.
my Supreme Court case.
Supreme
I
Court
sued the
case, yeah,
federal
okay.
government and won in 1997. If this case came out a week ago, the country would be aghast at how powerful the most recent Supreme Court case was. Well, this came out in 97. Let's use it. It's an absolute miracle. Justice Scalia wrote the decision, and this is something you and your sheriff need to be very familiar with. Okay,
Okay.
they're
Okay.
they're they're a whopping 3 of these for $5. So, folks, you cannot get a better education than this. It fits in your shirt pocket, fits in your purse, fits in your glove box. Every American home should have this book in it or on your person. And share these with other people so that you can show them the sheriff is the CLEO. It says it in here. Scalia reinforces that in his introduction, calls us the CLEOs, Chief Law Enforcement Officer.
Okay.
We are not subject to federal direction. That is in here as well. And folks, take this with you everywhere you go. Hand it to any cop, city councilman, county commissioner. Your county attorney needs to read this case. And so, folks, let's get
Mm,
involved in the process of an effective and peaceful process, and part of the solution to take our country back in a peaceful and effective manner. If we're involved, we can keep it peaceful. And even if it doesn't stay peaceful, we, the people, have got to be involved in this to minimize the violence and to end it quickly.
Yeah. And this is what you're saying is so important because, I mean, all of us are relieved that President Trump is coming back. The
Heavens, yes.
reality is, and I say this all the time, he is one man. He's not a dictator, nor do we want him to be.
No.
We want local action, which is what General Flynn talks about. And this is a prime example of people going to your sheriff, going to your county attorney, holding them to the job that they were appointed or elected to do, which is to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. They're not there to write speeding tickets, contrary to what it looks like when you drive down the
No,
road.
no kidding.
You know, it's become policing for profit, and I could go down a big rabbit trail on that, but I won't.
Hey,
I'm
you're
just going to
quoting
stay
me
on
now.
topic.
You're quoting me totally.
It pisses me off. But anyway, and not to mention that and all the surveillance cameras everywhere. Okay, but let's stay on topic. The the local action, we want that. Now, speaking of local action and people who know their communities, one of the big concerns that we have and that has been brought up by many people, including Tom Homan, is that we have close to 400,000 missing children in this country. And
Yeah.
I don't know, how do they simply go missing? What does that even mean? Are they still alive? And what can be done? What will be done to locate and recover these children
Well, the likelihood is they've been sold into sexual slavery.
overseas?
Another benefit brought to you by the Biden administration. They don't care about these kids. You've never heard
Right.
him or Kamala say a word about those 400,000 kids. The cartels are in charge of this, and they did it. Some of the families coming up, how do they get the $7,000 to pay the cartels to get into America?
They become indentured. But you know what? One thing the Bidens
They
will
sell
lecture.
some of their children.
Yes, one thing they will lecture you on all day long is separation of families at the border,
Oh,
because
yeah,
that
wow.
that gives them the way to virtue signal. Yeah,
Well, Tom Homan gave the same answer that I've given to that for a long time.
send them
If
back
you're
together.
arrested and you have your kids with you, you're going to be separated.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah,
That's just it.
yeah.
The kids don't go to jail with dad when he's driving drunk.
Mhm.
Okay? There's a
Right.
separation. So,
Yeah, yeah.
and
It happens to
protecting the
Americans
kids
too.
is vital, and it's our responsibility.
Mhm.
And we have failed miserably at this because this administration has been promoting it.
Yes. So how do we go about locating these children? And then when they're located, what do we do? Now, I know, again, going back to the bigger picture in DC, much of this is being done by not NGOs that are funded by our federal government. Again, it's trafficking that is financed by American taxpayer dollars. How do we stop that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want criminal investigations to start, and I believe that Kash Patel is going to do that. But sheriff's offices across this country should be doing the same damn thing. If there was any way that any of this impacted your county, the sheriff should be starting criminal investigations.
Mhm.
And right now, earlier, I think you saw me answer my phone.
Yes.
That was Sheriff Mark Lamb, who
I was
just
going to
left.
ask you about him.
He just left the sheriff's office in Pinal County, Arizona.
Okay.
He's really busy still, and he and I are still working together. We've been working together for the last 10 years or so.
Mhm.
I endorsed him when he first ran for sheriff in Pinal County. We're actually distant cousins.
Oh.
So it runs in our blood, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call him back. But the thing of it is, when I asked him, when we were promoting having sheriffs across the country conduct criminal investigations against federal officials who have caused all this havoc and chaos and disasters, that we need to start criminal investigations. He goes, I just finished one on Alejandro Mayorkas, and it's sitting on the county attorney's desk in Pinal County now.
Will
It's a
the
new
county attorney do anything
so I
about
hope
it?
he does something about it.
Okay, you just answered my question. Yes, exactly, because a lot of these county attorneys and prosecutors are bought and paid for by Soros,
Right.
and they are paid not to bring cases.
The lousy one just got voted out, and I hope this new guy
Okay,
is a breath of fresh air and gets
okay,
going on
good,
this.
good, yeah. Mark Lamb, he's fantastic. I love his social media. He has a lot of really good content. He's somebody that I'd like to have on the show. So,
Yes.
we will definitely get him on. And a lot of you guys, a lot of my listeners, I think, follow him as well. So, okay, we've talked about securing the border. We talked about deportations. I still am not clear on. I know you said like send them back the way they came. But,
Well,
like,
that
just
that's
from a
one possibility.
mathematical, from a
Yeah, that's one
logistics,
possibility, but, however they have to do it, buses,
will
uh, you know, however they have to, planes, I don't care.
yeah. How
I
many
know
are
that
gonna
Tom Homan,
self-deport?
I
How
know that
many
he has a plan,
okay,
and he's
how
not sharing it with me or anybody else, and I don't want him
okay,
to.
okay, how many will self-deport, do you think, prior to Trump coming in?
I think some of that has already happened. We've
Okay.
been seeing some of that, but it's not nearly enough. I think
Mhm,
most of them are hoping that these sanctuary cities and governors and mayors are going to save them, you know.
mhm.
But those people, any governor or mayor who is promoting a sanctuary city for illegal aliens, that's against the law.
Right, and so what
And
are the
folks,
consequences of that? If somebody
uh,
here somebody listening lives
serious.
in a sanctuary city, how can they get this dealt with?
Well, for each person, it would be a separate count of a crime. And I
Okay,
just saw something on this that would be 5 years in prison per person per count. And so,
okay.
if these people want to play that game,
Mhm,
they're going to be that stupid. First of all, it's idiotic, and that they would expose to all of their constituents that we want to keep the terrorists, the cartels, the Venezuelan gangs, and all the other murderers and rapists that have been attacking and our police,
mhm,
attacking our
mhm.
citizens, taking over uh, apartment complexes in outside
Yeah,
Denver. You're going to say you want to keep that going and you want more of it
right, right.
as an official of the people in your area. You're going to tell that to your constituents.
Mhm.
Well, okay, you want to be that? You want to be that? Okay.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
going to be investigated. You're probably going to be arrested.
Mhm. What percentage of the country voted for Trump? What
Well, that's a good
county-wise,
one.
geographically?
The map shows 85% of the counties in this country voted for Trump. That is
Wow.
so overwhelming. And the first time when he supposedly lost, it was about the same.
Mhm.
So, so folks, 85%
Yeah.
of the county should have sheriffs in those areas that are raring to go
Mhm.
to help Trump on all of this.
Mhm.
And that the people now, folks, you need to contact your sheriff and say, we want to make sure, one, that you're helping with the deportation, two,
Okay.
that you're using us to help you.
Okay. Okay.
Every
And what
Wednesday,
you
we have a
said
training webinar for all of our posse,
okay.
and we teach you and we show you the template that we can give you so that you know what to go through to help your sheriff.
And that's cspoa.org. And what you said about the search and rescue teams, that really helps put things into perspective because
Yeah,
any sheriff who is incorporating those individuals already into their operations, it's not a stretch for them to bring in additional people as part of their posse. This is not
of
a new
course.
concept for most sheriffs. And this is important, I think, for people to understand. And when they approach their sheriffs, that is a good way to approach it. And of course, your training will help them with that as well. Um, so this is good. It's good news. When you're traveling around the country or your state, your area, what are like the top 3 issues that people are focused on when it comes to getting this country back on track? You're talking to people all the time. What are you
Yeah.
hearing people say?
Well, most of the people are saying what I've been putting out as well, and that's what needs to happen in Washington, D.C. to get the national debt down. And that's spending and the corrupt spending. There's no greater example of corruption in Washington, D.C. than abortion and spending. And so, first, um, that has to be BOG'd out of here is any funding for Planned Parenthood.
Mm,
Okay. It is not a government entity. It does not
yeah.
provide a government service. And we spend $500 million every year on this evil organization that
Mhm.
provides no service to the American people that is a proper role of government. Okay. That
Yeah.
doesn't exist. It is the epitome of corrupt spending. That needs to stop first. And second would be the IRS. After that, people are concerned about their families, their income, and the border, and the vast increase of crime in our country,
Mm,
and that so many people are afraid to go to Chicago and go to New York and go to Los Angeles, go to San Francisco. They're afraid to take vacations there.
yeah.
And so America has changed, something fierce from within.
Mhm. Yeah.
And the people don't like it, and we don't want this anymore.
I
And
agree.
so
Yeah.
the economy, inflation, trust in Washington, D.C., because everybody talks about how totally corrupt it is, and that the FBI is so corrupt, IRS. Everybody wants to be like the IRS now because they've gotten away with this criminal activity for so long. So those are the biggest concerns. And
Mhm.
right now, people are really concerned that Trump delivers. And I
Mhm.
think that to prove that to everyone, the first day, defund Planned Parenthood, defund the IRS. You don't even need the IRS if your tax system is fair and honest and
Yeah.
constitutional.
Flat tax,
Yep.
tariffs.
We saved 20 billion right there on going after innocent Americans.
Yeah. And I would say day one also, pardon the J6ers.
Oh, yes, yes. I do
Yeah.
too.
That's
Yep.
a big one. I think that act alone will go a long way,
Right.
to showing people that Trump is acting on the mandate that he was elected on.
Amen.
Sheriff Mack, is there anything else you want to finish up with? We've gone a little over time. Since we had the little glitches
Mhm.
and the little foray into the My Pillow commercial.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
glad we made it. I'm glad we made it, and thank you so much for
but
having me. And
sure,
folks,
sure.
um, the, our country is in your hands. Uh,
Mm,
this whole thing about CSPOA is a partnership with you and your sheriff. We've got to be working together. If you're just listening to programs like this, these types of programs are great. You learned a lot today, and now you have action steps to take.
yes.
So become a part of the solution. Become a part of the holy cause of liberty that's just as important today as it was in 1776. If you're
Amen.
involved and your sheriff's involved, this is going to be huge for us. There is really solid hope for America in 2025. So
Good.
look at yourself because you're the solution. The solution is in the mirror. All of you
Mhm.
have got to be involved. Don't say, "Well, I'm glad that somebody else is going to do that." No, all of you on this program today have got to be involved
Yes,
in the process to take
absolutely.
back America and to have Trump's back.
Good.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. And please, everyone listening, please pray for Sheriff Mack and Sheriff Lamb,
Yeah,
and
both
to
of them.
all of the sheriffs and law enforcement. These are mostly people who are trying to do the right thing.
Right.
And in many cases, they're put into very, very difficult circumstances,
Right.
especially in the blue states. So that's something to think about. Also, keep President Trump in your prayers. And then I want to let everybody know that we are having a live Q&A on Saturday with our friend Dr. Troy Sproul from Synapse Center for Health and Healing. This is one of the favorites of all of my guests. Please prepare your questions. He will answer questions, and then he will also tell you how to get on track with your health in the new year and to get started in taking initiative and taking the bull by the horns and really focusing on your health so that you can be the best you can be and do the things that Sheriff Mack is talking about as a healthy, vibrant person, not subject to the corporatocracy of the medical industrial complex. So we will be back 10 a.m. Saturday morning here live. And we also have a special show coming on Sunday night. I'll send out that information. We have a documentary about what has been happening in Western North Carolina, followed by a live Q&A with some of the people who've been boots on the ground down there. So I'll get that message out to you. Everybody have a wonderful day. Go outside, look at the sky, touch some grass if you can, and focus on what is good, and that is God, because God is bigger than all of the stuff that we talked about today, and he can move mountains, and it's our faith that moves mountains. So put your trust in him, and we will be back here. Thank you again, Sheriff Richard Mack, Mary Grace Show. We will be back very soon. Everybody have a wonderful day.